Words and Money Podcast, Episode 8. Dun, 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 dun.
You're listening to the Words and Money Podcast with money enthusiast and financial literacy coach, Tess Wicks. Each week, listen in on a 30-minute, no BS conversation, teaching us how to be smart about money, our future, and miscellaneous adult things from the minds of our brilliant expert guests and from Tess herself. Whether you're a recent graduate, young professional, or seasoned career woman still trying to figure out your money matters, you've made it to the right place. Welcome to Words and Money.
Hey, party people. Welcome back to the Words and Money Podcast. This week, I have Denise Duffield-Thomas, otherwise known as Denise DT. She is the money mindset mentor for the new wave of online female entrepreneurs. Her best-selling books, Lucky Bitch and Get Rich Lucky Bitch, give a fresh and funny roadmap to create an outrageously successful life and business. Denise helps women release their fear of money, set premium prices for their services, and take back control of their finances. Denise is an award-winning speaker, author, and entrepreneur who helps women transform their economy class money mindset into a first-class life. You can find her at luckybitch.com. So if you couldn't already tell, this episode may be a little bit explicit. You'll just be hearing the B word quite frequently, so I apologize in advance. If you have young kids around you, maybe pop in some headphones. In this episode, Denise shares her experience with manifesting money and being a lucky bitch. She walks us through how we can overcome some of our money blocks, feel worthy of making the money we do and asking for more money, and how you can give yourself permission to be rich. We talk about how to manifest money, and Denise shares how stuff has become less important as she's grown into a richer life. Not only with money, but with the people and experiences too. I had so much fun talking with Denise. This is definitely a twist on what we typically talk about on the Words and Money podcast, but it's really going deep about mindset and what we think about money and how we feel and what our money blocks are. So it's really exciting to learn more about yourself by really investigating those money blocks. And I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So we're just gonna dive right in. Here is Get Rich Lucky Bitch with Denise Duffield-Thomas. Please tell us a little bit about who you are and about your site, Lucky Bitch, and what you have going on there.
Sure. So, my name is Denise Duffield-Thomas, and everyone knows me as the Lucky Bitch, and which is really fun, and there is a story behind it. But basically, I started looking at principles of the law of attraction and manifesting and things like that a couple of years ago, and I had such great success with it that all my friends were calling me a lucky bitch. And I thought it was hilarious because, you know, it didn't just come out of the blue. And I was thinking, hang on, I make my own luck. You know, like if you saw all the things that I was doing behind the scenes, then all of these so-called lucky things wouldn't be so much of a surprise. So when I started out in my business full time, I started out as a life coach. And one of the things that I love doing is kind of demystifying success for people. And saying, hey, well, look, here's this big goal. Let's break it down into really practical steps, and let's break down manifesting into very practical steps so you can do it too. So now, I called my business Lucky Bitch because that's exactly what happens. And you've probably found that too, Tess. When something great happens in your life, there'll always be people in your life who think, oh, well, you're just lucky. Mm-hmm. And I believe we make our own luck.
That's fantastic. So I'm wondering, what did you learn about money growing up, going way, way back?
Yeah, sure. So I didn't grow up very wealthy. My mum was a single mom, and she, kind of did random jobs. So sometimes she might be a cleaner or a waitress or things like that. So money was tight, but I lived in a town where there were a lot of single mums. And actually the town that I grew up in was kind of a created town. It was a whole lot of, empty land, and the government put a lot of government housing there. So you had a lot of kind of low income and a lot of single mums who moved from the cities there. So I didn't really think about being poor too much, because if you grow up in government housing, your neighbors have the exact same house as you.
Sure.
And your friend down the street has the exact same house as you. But what happened, my mom actually met and married quite a wealthy guy when I was about 12. And we moved from our little government house to his big mansion house. And that's when I realized, oh, hang on, there's a different way of money. And you might think, oh, wow, that's happily ever after. But their relationship, like my mum really wanted to be independent. So every time they would have an argument or a big fight, we would move back into a very small house. And this happened every 6 months for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And so my money story went from, hey, everyone's the same, and as long as you're happy, like, no big deal, to suddenly men have all the power, money can be taken away from you, and, and don't get too big for your boots because you'll be back in the gutter eventually. So I think I had a really interesting point of view around money from having those two very different experiences. And it took me a long time to unravel, which it does for women, to unravel some of those things.
I know that you have some stuff on your site talking about money blocks, and I'm really focusing on manifesting money and how do you ask for more money? How do you find more money? And really focusing on women, of course. So let's go into kind of money mindset, money blocks. What are some of your key items that you really walk people through to overcome that? And what do you see right now that a lot of people have in terms of money blocks?
Sure. So one of the very first exercises that we do is exactly what we just did together. You look at your past. What are some of your memories around money? What are some of your key stories around money? What are some of the big things that you remember around money? And the interesting thing about that is it doesn't matter if you grew up wealthy or poor or whatever. Everyone's got something. And most of the time those incidences or, circumstances have caused you to believe certain things. So it could be that you have to work hard to make money. So that's a really big one. And that's common to people who grew up rich and poor alike, by the way, that it doesn't count unless you really work hard for it. If you grew up poor, that can sometimes come from, unless you're working with your hands, it's not real. And you can see that can be a big problem for women who are entrepreneurs in this day and age, because we are usually selling knowledge, skills, sometimes just information, and we're not working with our hands. So that can really derail a lot of women. Or conversely, that even happens with people who grew up wealthy. So maybe your parents were, super competitive workaholics. And so suddenly, if you want to have a business model that works for a family, or just to kind of, hey, let's make it easy to make money and enjoyable, that kind of goes against the grain of what we've been taught, that no, you have to be working, you have to be billing 100 hours a week or it doesn't count. So I think that's a really interesting kind of story. But the way you find your story is you look at all the things that happen to you in your life, you write them all down, you look for commonalities, you look for patterns, you look for stories that you might have created from those situations, and then how it relates to your life and business today.
Yes, I want to talk a little bit more. I like that you mentioned you have to work hard for your money, because I even, come by that sometimes, and a lot of my business is knowledge-based and a lot of writing, but then you start thinking like, well, I'm not trading all of my time for money, and how do you get people kind of past that?
Yeah, well, I think that's a good one to talk about because it's such a common one. And it's such a detrimental one for women because it means that we make things harder for ourselves. Mm-hmm. We push away money because it doesn't feel like we earned it. We burn ourselves out because we reinvent the wheel every time, because it's like, oh, hey, I can't reuse that sales page for my next launch. That would be cheating. I have to pull an all-nighter and do it all again from scratch, which we've all done. Or, oh, hey, I ran that program once and I got an okay response. Oh, I can't run it again. Like, I'll have to create a completely new thing. So that's a huge one. So I think the way to overcome any block, whether that's, working hard, or there's a lot of other ones as well, is first of all, it's just awareness. That's the biggest thing. And the fact that it's a story that you created. It's not real that you have to work hard to make money. It's a story you created because of XYZ. Mm-hmm. And that awareness is so powerful, because you go, oh my God, I don't have to do this. This is just something I decided when I was 7 years old. And that's ruling my life. And so that's the first thing, is awareness. Awareness of where it came from, but awareness of what it's costing you to have that belief. Is it costing you money, health, enjoyment of your life? Is it costing you in lots of different ways. How is that affecting you in negative ways? And then the third thing is, I think, is just to have a way to pattern interrupt when it comes up again, and to go, oh my God, I'm pulling an all-nighter because I'm not outsourcing to anyone because I believe I have to work hard to make money. Oh, cool. Okay. I can snap out of that now, and I can change my behavior because I've recognized it. And then once you do that, it's like a muscle. It gets easier as you do it. And you give yourself permission to change, to grow and change.
What about the thought that I know a lot of people come up and think money is evil, or it's related to evil. It's like money is dangerous because once you get a lot of it, you can, turn into a bad person or something. Do you hear that much?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's a fear that women have of that money is going to change them. Mm-hmm. And again, you go back and look, where did you learn that? Is it something that was said in your family? Was it a motto? Like, for example, the motto in my family is, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. And so, that's the story that I didn't even realize that I had. So it's like, oh, well, it's better to be nice to people than to make money. Like, that's kind of where I took that. Or maybe you have seen examples of people who have made money in your family and who have become greedy or have had fights or things like that. So always go back and see where you discovered that. It could even be from movies, because in my research when I was writing my book, Get Rich, Lucky Bitch, I realized there's not many positive examples of rich women in the movies that we grew up with. They're all kind of evil.
Right,
or bitchy,
they are.
Or manipulative or conniving or, ruthless, all this stuff. So it's come at us from so many different angles. And then we have a fear that we're going to repeat that. So again, go back to your past. And then the next step for that particular goal is to write down all of your fears. Are you scared that if you had a lot of money, you wouldn't have any friends, or your partner would leave you, or your kids would be kidnapped, or, write down as many, even if they sound really outlandish mm-hmm. to you on a conscious level. Write them all down, because then you can look at them one by one and say, okay, is this real? Is this the truth, or is this a fear? And then even some of them you can mitigate that, and you can go, okay, well, if I can have some checks and balances in place to make sure that I'm not becoming a greedy, bitch or whatever.
Yeah.
And the other thing is to demystify the difference between you as you are now and you as a rich person. And this is so key, right? Because I was thinking that at some stage I'd have enough money that I would literally cross over into another realm and be a different person. And once I realized that, oh, hang on, I would just be exactly me with just more money, mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, well, I had a vision in my mind of like, oh my God, if I was rich, I would only wear high heels and like really high end clothes. And once I realized that, oh, I actually don't like wearing that. And I live in a beach town.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't wear big high heels around the beach. Then you kind of give yourself permission to be rich and whoever you are, because I think there's just these unacknowledged fears of, oh my God, I wouldn't be environmentally responsible if I was rich, so I don't want to be rich. When you acknowledge them and you realize that that's not true, and, you can trust yourself to keep your values and keep the essence of who you are, you almost give yourself permission to be rich anyway.
Yeah.
Now, whoever you are right now. And like, I'm wearing cut-off jeans. I don't have any shoes on. I've got messy hair. And it's so against what I thought I would have to be to deserve to be wealthy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, Denise, we covered money mindset, we covered money blocks, and now I want to get into the manifesting more money. Whether it's from, you're sitting down, you're writing intentions, you're really trying to find more money for yourself, or it's, someone is actually side hustling, they're trying to ask for a raise, they're looking for more physically out there. Do you have tips for kind of both sides?
I do. And the process is pretty much the same regardless of what you're manifesting. I think the piece that a lot of women are missing, because women are great at manifesting, by the way, really, really great. I find that most people I meet are really good at doing it, but they're used to doing it for stuff or things rather than money.
Mm-hmm.
And also they almost do it by the skin of their teeth. You know, they're like, oh, it always comes no matter what. And it's like, yeah, that comes at a great personal cost sometimes in energy and stress. So, you know, it's about getting to a place where you're allowed to have excess. You're allowed to have more than one pair of black shoes. You're allowed to have money in your bank account that you're not spending. And that can feel really uncomfortable for a lot of us women. So, you know, just know, first of all, that anything that you've manifested in the past, those skills are transferable to money. You just have to think about it in a different way. And I actually do teach a 5-step process. And, you know, that's at luckybitch.com/formula if anyone wants to, you know, get a look at that. It's just a little free mini course. But, you know, the difference between manifesting stuff and manifesting money sometimes is just believing that you can and it's okay for you to have money. I used to be amazing at manifesting free stuff all the time. Like I was queen of free. And then I was like, oh, wow, I have no money in my bank account that I can spend. And I actually said to the universe, I'm a big girl now. Thank you for taking care of me, but I'm ready to graduate into manifesting money now. And that was a great first step for me to acknowledge that I was great at manifesting stuff, but not money. And then you can just follow the steps, you know, make sure you set your intentions, you know what you want, you release some of the beliefs that you might have that you're not allowed to have that thing, whatever that thing is. Mm-hmm. You take action to bring it to you. You don't just sit around and light an abundance candle. You actually go out and like talk to clients and ask for the sale and receive the money. And that really is the last step, is learning to receive. And that could be from someone going, oh, so how much does it cost? And not saying, oh, don't worry about it, or, you know, let me give you a discount, or no, that's okay, I'll pay for coffee. It comes in little and big ways. And the way that you are with little bits of money is exactly how you're going to be with big bits of money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've even had that point where, you know, someone says, oh, I'll pay you this. And then you just say, okay. And it's hard how do we get over those hurdles? Like, I don't know what the right question is, but what
no, I think I understand. You know, in the last couple of days in my Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp group, I've had a few women say, you know, I've done things like that where someone's asked for a discount, or they've, you know, tried to negotiate on prices, or they've, you know, just offered a really small amount. And every one of them has said it was so painful, but I just said no, or I countered with, well, cool, you can have a discount, but I'm going to take these things out of your package. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, all these other ways. And they've all said, look, I said it in such a polite way and with respect and kindness, and it killed me. But, you know, most of the time people come back and say, oh, okay, no problem. You know, it's just all the stuff that's going on in our head around it. So how do you get over it? It's the same process. Look at where those beliefs came from. Look at what stories you're telling yourself about your ability to earn money, and have the awareness in the moment for it, you know, and there's a lot of nuances. I talk a lot about, some of the things you can do in my book, Get Rich Lucky Bitch, which anyone can find on Amazon. But, you know, it's a learning experience. And for a lot of us women, we're so hard on ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to learn, you know, we're just like, well, I'm not meant to be successful in business, or, you know, oh, well, I just have to discount prices for the rest of my life because no one will pay my prices. And none of that is true. It's just a story. And some things that are just normal rites of passage in business, like, for example, a client asking for a refund, or a client asking for a discount, like things like that just are just things that happen in business. Mm-hmm. We take them so personally, and we're just like, oh, well, I'm not meant to be successful in business. Oh, well, I'll go back to my job. So just to know, all of that's normal. Everyone gets scared about it, and it's okay. You can handle it.
Yes. And I will definitely be going through the free manifesting course, luckybitch.com/formula, because
yes,
that will be great for me. Okay. Moving on. Well, actually, you touched upon your book, Get Rich Lucky Bitch, and I'm just wondering, curious, what are our listeners going to learn from reading that book?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a mini version of my money boot camp.
Okay.
So I take you through those exercises, like how to figure out where your stories came from, how to look at the patterns and the money blocks that you might have from those experiences, And then I give you some tools about, tools that I use and my boot campers use to give yourself, on a daily basis, give yourself the courage to change those stories and to move on. It's a very easy read. You can read it in a couple of hours. And I wouldn't even say it's a great introduction because, you could be quite good at manifesting, and I think you'll still get some fun tips out of taking that further. So yeah, you can get that on Amazon, or if you just want to get a couple of free chapters and see if you like it, because there is some, lucky bee language in there. There's some swearing and stuff. You just can go to luckybitch.com/chapter, and I think you get the first 3 chapters free or something, and just see if you like it and see if it resonates with you. But yeah, it's a fun book.
Yes. Well, it has a fun name, so it has to be a fun book.
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of my favorite questions. Everyone's definition of financial freedom is different. And I'm always curious, what would be your I made it moment with money, or what, whether it's past, present, future, what's your definition?
Well, I think it's just the freedom and the independence to do what you want to do, and to know that you have, all the money that you want to do the things that you want to do. And for a lot of people, they have a feeling that is multi-millions.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I have to win the Powerball. That is my plan B for getting rich. And the best thing that you can do, and I think this is the definition of financial freedom, is knowing what that is for you. Like knowing what it's going to take to feel good about money. And most of the time, the money part of it is just the tool. It's not the end destination. So for me, when I got out of debt completely, that felt amazing. That felt so free, and I felt so just like, I don't have to take on the next client that comes along because, I'm not in debt.
Yeah.
And actually my next definition of financial freedom is, we have a pretty big mortgage because we had a massive upgrade to move into a big house in a nice neighborhood. And my next goal is to pay that mortgage off as quickly as possible. And I think we're going to do it in the next couple of years. And for me, I'm like, wow, God, having no mortgage, that feels free to me. Having zero debt and low expenses, that's huge freedom, because you could, take a bit of time off your business if you wanted to, or go traveling, or just kind of enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's not about buying stuff, and there's nothing wrong with buying stuff, but stuff doesn't really interest me that much anymore, which is funny, right? Because when you don't have it, and especially when you don't like your job or your life, sometimes you spend money just to feel good about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the richer I've gotten, but also richer in every way, not just money, buying stuff is not exciting to me at all, because I think, I like my life. I'm not trying to improve it by buying stuff that I don't need.
Yes. And it's kind of a really good practice, I find, getting rid of stuff.
Yes.
It can almost make you feel rich because you're getting rid of stuff, especially if you get to donate that stuff too. So it's a nice
absolutely. I'm a big fan of Marie Kondo. I KonMari my house all the time. And yeah, I think paring down to what really makes you happy and what really works for you in your life feels so rich.
Yes. Very cool. All right, moving on to the quick and dirty Q&A. Just some fast-paced questions to wrap up the show. So, if you suddenly made $20 million just dropped on your doorstep, what is the first thing you would do with it, Denise?
I would call Susie Orman. I've thought about this a lot. And take her to Hawaii and spend a week with Susie Orman with my hubby, and maybe even invite some of my family there as well and figure out what to do with it.
Have you ever met her?
I've seen her speak live,
okay.
And she opened her speech with, "I stand before you, a very, very, very wealthy woman." Wow. And it was like, yes! I loved it.
That is awesome. All right. What is the one money habit that you have that you believe has brought you success?
Tracking money every single day. And I'm not talking about accounting, because my bookkeepers take care of that, but it's more being really aware of what's coming into my life. And I've just launched a free money tracker too. If people want to go to the Apple Store, you just search for Lucky Bitch Money Tracker. It's just for iPhones. But yeah, it's a really good habit. But you can do it on paper, you can do it on a spreadsheet, and it's a really life-changing habit to change your awareness and appreciation of money.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you what apps do you use to track your money, but
I use my own.
You use your own. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I will definitely link. I mean, everything we've kind of touched on, I'll be linking in the show notes so everyone listening can get them there. All right. What organizations do you like to give your time or money to?
I really favor organizations that work with mothers and children because I think, women especially, empowering women has statistically changed things for the better. So I love Every Mother Counts, and I love Pencils of Promise.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
I was just reading that book.
Oh, amazing book. When I found out, it was like, oh, his brother manages Justin Bieber.
I know!
So cool. I was like, oh. I actually have to say, though, the last couple of charities that I've donated to was the UN Human Rights, I think it's Council or something like that, and they are, practically on the ground helping refugees with very practical things. And I also recently donated to a company that provides baby carriers for refugees who have literally just arrived in a country, because some of them are carrying their babies and all of their belongings. So I tend to favor charities that do really practical stuff for people, like really on the ground, solving one problem at a time.
Yes, that's great. Okay, what is something you invest in that makes your life or business easier?
It's help in my life and business. So, cleaner, a nanny to help me with my toddler, food delivery service because I don't cook and I used to just not eat. I was like, oh, I'll just not eat for the next couple of hours until someone brings me some food, or I'll go and eat McDonald's in my car. So I tend to solve problems by outsourcing.
There you go.
Because I know I'm not going to change my behavior that much. It's like, find ways to change things without it relying on me.
Right. That's great. Sometimes I forget to eat. Like I'll be working and then I'm like, I'm really hungry, but making food is going to take time. So I just won't eat too.
Yes, it's stupid. It's really
so stupid. Why do we do that to ourselves?
It makes no sense. So literally like a company comes and they deliver lunch and I eat it.
That is fantastic.
It's great.
That is my definition of financial freedom.
Yes. But the thing is, I was even, having a successful business, I was like, oh, can I afford this? And I looked at the numbers and I just went, oh my God, I spend so much money on convenience food, or, oh, I'll just duck into the shops and just buy a couple of things and spend $100 on nothing. And so actually it ended up saving me money. So I just really get people to look at the numbers. How much does it cost for you to clean your own toilet? It probably costs way more in opportunity costs than it does to get someone just to come into your house. So I think sometimes when you change that mindset, it gives you permission to, just to do the things that you're good at.
Right. Breaking it down by hour and seeing, what is your time value, that can always help kind of distinguish.
It does. And for most entrepreneurs, even if you're not making the money that you want to make right now, it's too expensive for you to clean your own toilet, because that's not going to be the thing that creates the income that will change your life, cleaning your toilet.
Exactly. What is one, this is actually my favorite question because I get to find out who you really are. What is one guilty pleasure that you'll spend any amount of money on that you just have to indulge in?
Well, it's free actually, but I love Hollywood stuff. So I love reading Lainey Gossip when I wake up, which is a gossip site. So I usually look at her site before I look at anything else's. I love watching the Golden Globes. So I think in the future I would love to spend money on going to award shows live.
Ooh.
Yeah, like a big goal of mine is to go to the Oscars, to go to the Golden Globes, to do something like that, because I watch all of them avidly. And I don't tend to look at the gossip that's really nasty kind of gossip, but that's why I love Lainey Gossip, because she's very smart and she's very, kind of analytical about the Hollywood stuff. But yeah, I mean, I talk about that a lot, but most people just think, oh, Denise must get up and meditate. And I'm like, no, I get up and see what's happening in Hollywood.
You don't care about the bad gossip. You just need to know what's going on with your favorite celebrities, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's probably my guilty pleasure. I don't watch reality shows so much, but yeah, actually I watch home renovation shows a lot.
Those are addicting. I will watch one right after the other and just keep going for hours.
Yes, but can someone just invent one that's just reveals?
Oh yeah, just the before and after.
Yeah, sometimes I don't care about the process. I just want to see just what it looks like now. And I know this is totally off track, but it does set up very unrealistic expectations about renovating. we were planning to renovate this house, and I was like, oh, it just takes 6 weeks, right?
Right. And it's this set amount of money that, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay. My last request is give our audience your best words of advice about money.
Oh, my best words of advice about money. The thing that I've realized is that it's not the destination. And I thought it was for a long time, so I don't blame other people if they think that it is the destination. Money is just the tool for you to create whatever you want to create in your life. And however that is for you. So don't look at someone else and think, oh, I have to have their life. Really look at what that means for you and define it. And then you know how much money you need to create that. And I think my overall philosophy is, as you create your own luck, and it's only up to you. And when I watched, the movie Joy recently, and I saw all the struggles that, that character went through, and it really put into perspective some of the things that we let derail us in business. We go, oh, someone, did a 1-star review of my book, or, oh, I've got a hater. And I just thought, really? Are we really going to let things like that derail us from living the life we're meant to live? Like, really? So you create your own luck and you decide, and why not you is the last thing. Like, why not you?
Right. There you go. Denise, this has been fantastic. I just want to say one last time, your website, luckybitch.com, you have the Money Block Workshop, Manifesting Money course, and Money Bootcamp, and now the new Lucky Bitch Money Tracker on iTunes for an app. How can my listeners get in contact with you? How can they reach you?
Yes. So my website's just luckybitch.com, as you mentioned. I'm pretty active on social media. All of my handles are at Denise DT. So you can find me on Instagram, tag me on stuff. I love when people tag me on things. Just, they find money in the street and tag me. I'm like, that makes my day. And my Facebook page is facebook.com/Denise DT as well. So get into my world, overdose on Denise stuff.
Well, your website is amazing. It is so adorable. I love all the colors, and I want to be on the beach over there.
Well, it's funny too, because some of my pictures, it's like, oh, there's Denise in a combi van and Denise typing on the beach with a surfboard next to her. And, it's like
everyday stuff, right?
Yeah, like of course I write my blog posts and then go for a surf. So it's fun. The whole vibe of my brand is chillionaire. I think you can make your life relaxed and fun and still be as wealthy as you like.
Denise, thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in to another great week and interview on the Words of Money podcast. Everything we mentioned in this episode today, including links to all of Denise's amazing free resources, as well as her books, Lucky Bitch and Get Rich Lucky Bitch, which you definitely have to check out, they're all located at tesswicks.com/podcast/Denise DT. That's DENISEDT. I hope you all loved this episode. It's definitely a great combination of mindset and manifestation, as well as some tangible, actionable advice. If you did love this, please share with a friend, loved one, person you think will benefit too. I need your help to spread the goodness of words and money, and I appreciate your support. Until next week, have a lucky one.